Okay, that's around 20 minutes of quiet sitting. How are you today? In each session, I always start with silent sitting because I realize it's good, not only good for me, but also I think it's good for you to recognize the silence or in stillness. The stillness is like a necessity to see the truth, to talk about truth, to recognize truth and rest in it. You see, traditionally we call it meditation as a general term, or samatha, or dhyana. So, in different lineage, we have different words for this. Dhyana is the concentration of the mind, concentration on external object or your being. You see, as a human, we know how to concentrate on an external object. Maybe every one of you could be very, uh, I would say, good at concentration when you are at work, when you're talking with your boss or manager, when you try to finish the task, which, especially when it's important. So we are very good at concentration when it's necessary. But concentration also means there's another level of concentration. When we do some small things, can you concentrate? When you are alone, like washing dishes, like walking from your living room to family room, when you are like do some cleaning or any trivial things, wash your hands, brush your teeth, can you concentrate on these small things? That's a little different. I want to tell a little bit difference. Why it's more easier for us to concentrate on something we think important, while we cannot concentrate while it's little or small or trivial task, because you don't need concentrate when you do some small things. Like you don't need to concentrate on to the washing, like washing hands. You don't need to. You can do multitask. You can listen to the music, wash your hands, and even have a conversation at the same time. Make sense to you? So at this time, the mind, if there's a capacity of the mind, actually there's a statistic that our mind can, like computer chips, can the capacity of like calculating or reasoning or like the capacity of that is like 110 bits of bytes per second. That's our mind capacity. So in this way, maybe we use only 10% or 10 bits per second when we washing our hand. So there's a rest of the capacity or lot used, not being used. That's why we are so easily be thinking of other things while we're washing hands. On the other hand, when you talk to your boss, when you're doing something important, especially when athletes driving a car like Formula One, like you're climbing a Himalayas, you have to be fully concentrated or focused. You cannot spare 1% of your you know capacity to do the multitask, especially when you're driving Formula One. It's like if you're distracted, you're dead. It's like a fatal distraction. I want to you really understand why it's more easier for us to concentrate on the important things, and we are much uh, more distracted or disturbed when we're doing small things or little things. Make sense to you? That's my understanding and realization. So concentration here means you can concentrate on small things. That's an ability. When you can concentrate or focus on small things, definitely you can focus on important things. It's, you see the logic here. Most world people they can concentrate on big projects, but very little can concentrate on small things. The small things is where the practice of concentration or mindfulness or meditation kicks in. Again, mindfulness is meditation in action. Like now, you're fully engaged because you think this is important. You're interested in this. Make sense? So I'm talking about in general meditation. There's a concentration part, but at same concentration, I talk. So the first part is like you are concentrating on external objects. That's one thing. That's one part of concentration. Meditation or dhyana also means that there's another part, the second part, is that you can concentrate on the self, on the being. So instead of an external object or an internal memory or thinking, the second part is like you again. I used to open monitor. You just be. You don't focus on anything. It's a process of defocusing, deconcentration. I really want you understand the difference between one-pointed concentration and open monitoring. Open monitoring is step two. So one-point concentration is step one. And actually the third step is based on open monitoring, the awareness can be aware of itself. So it's a concentration on the being, which is formless, infinite big, and infinite small. I want you have that understanding and the realization. This is critical. And that's what my topic today. See the universality in the individuality. That's a milestone in the awakening. If you can see universality, everything that is universal in the infinite differences in forms and names. Look around. How many things are around you? How much different is it in terms of shape, size, color, texture? Look around. So many different items, things, objects, and it's only layer one. Layer one means what you can see, you know, touch, smell, taste, hear. Listen to the sounds. So many different sounds too, right? That's layer one. Layer two, your mental activities, your memory, your your concept, your education, your social role. You see, layer two, your mental activities, so many differences. We are so different in layer one and layer two. But we are identical in the third layer, which I'm talking about is like your being. Tell me how different is my being between my being and your being, between your being and your mom's being, your father's being, your partner's being. Tell me how different it is. Because being is formless. You cannot tell the difference. The only word we can use is like emptiness. It's open. It's like space. Can you tell the difference between this space and that space? Do you follow? Once you can see the universality in you, around you, first you have to acknowledge the universality, which is never, which never changes. Universal means that is not subject to space and time and anyone or anybody, right? Or any situation. That means universality. Or in other words, the truth, the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth does not change over time, over space, from situation to situation. Universality is universal. Universal means it's beyond space and time. It's beyond individuality. It's beyond personality. It's not subject to any race, religion, education, background, and so on. To see through the forms and names and understand, acknowledge, and realize that universality, or like in everything, there's one thing in common. Generali- Generalization, maybe there's another term. You always have that in the so the infinite, so many differences, complexities, diversities of the world, of the nature of the cosmos. You can see something universal, identical. Then you are awakened. Why I'm saying so? That's a wisdom. That's an insight. That's a vipassana. You see, samatha first, calm down the mind by concentration, by meditation, dhyana, or even samadhi. Then there's a wisdom will arise from that calming the mind or recognition of the inner stillness and calm and silence, then you have at the inside, you can see through things. You can realize the universality in all the differences, complexities, and diversities. That's all. For example, when you're standing like in the supermarket, you see so many different people coming, going, shopping, right? Or in anywhere in public, you see so many different people and things too, like buildings, cars, trees, and so on. In all these dynamic, vibrating, different energies, you can see one thing universal. That's the foundation of compassion and love. Because if you only see differences, there's always good or bad, worse or better, beautiful, ugly. Make sense? If you only living in the world of diversity and complexity or differences, names and forms, you always have that comparison of good, bad, you know, gentleman, lady, you know, beautiful, ugly, success, failure, all the duality world. You're living in duality world, the dual world. That's the origin of suffering. You also see the body, and you also living in the world of body and mind. So many different bodies, minds in the world. Your body and your mind is totally different from your partners, from your parents, from your child. You see, there's a comparison there. On the other hand, behind all these differences, diversities of names and forms, dual world, if we can see that universality, something that universal beyond every differences, beyond every comparison, then you are living in the world of Dharma. Again, I use the Dharma realm. In Buddha's teaching, they use the Dharma realm, which is in modern world is like pure awareness. That's all. In the field of pure awareness, everything is identical, same. While you see the differences, you see the complexity, you see the different attributes, colors, textures, you know, like Chinese, American, or Africans, so many differences. Well, but beyond all these differences, you see something in common. In the human domain, you see the being domain. Only when you can see that behind every different eyes, clothes, religion, beliefs, there's something totally identical. No matter you're a farmer, you're president of the United States, you're cashier in Costco, you're a doctor, your profession, your teacher or professor, no matter what social roles it is, there's something universal, never changes over time, space, and situation. Or in our everyday experience, you see the space. You not only see the objects in the space, you also see every object dwelling in the universal space, a formless, infinite big, infinite small space. Then you see the universal space manifest in different names and forms as a tree, a dog, a person, a planet. You are awakened one. Love and compassion will arise naturally and simultaneously. You can see through the five skandhas. You can go back to my previous videos of five skandhas. Buddha's teaching use five skandhas, sorry, that may block our seeing through forms, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and memory, knowledge, or uh, limited consciousness. So it's all like the bars of prison, the bars of ego that prisoned us from the freedom, from this letting go, cannot see the true reality. And 2 days ago, I talked about the Tentai school, three attributes of the phenomenal world, or threefold truth: emptiness, illusory like reality, phenomenal world, and the middle way between the emptiness and the illusion. Actually, in every object, including our mind, thoughts, memories, emotions, these threefold truths are present in every object, in every phenomenon. That's a universality too. Do you follow? So crazy. I mentally bowed, prostrate to Buddha's teaching, to Buddha, to all the sages' teaching, because what they are teaching is so valuable, so profound, so inspiring, so transcending. Nothing in the world can compare to their teaching, to their pointers of the ultimate realization. Right at this moment, at this place, your room, whatever you are, which city you are, can you find something universal? Then you are awakened. So simple, as pure awareness. We are not subject to any space, time, and situation. No. Yet, you still have that uniqueness you still have that individuality. Only when you see your universality with everything, everyone else, identical with everything, everyone, it's not else anymore. You see, there's no me and other. There's nothing. If you find that universality, there's nothing as no such a thing as a me and other, because me and other is a dual, is a relative thing. If you find something universal, that differences disappears. Only when you find that universality, you understand every individuality much deeper, clearer, and profound. It's very paradoxical, but it's uniform too, because now you have a total picture. Totality is very important in the path of awakening. Universality means also means total, right? Complete. Makes sense to you? You see, every word is kind of try. I'm using here is try to pointing to the moon, but every word is not moon. So fingers are pointing the moon, but fingers are not moon. That's the that's the weakness of words. But if you can follow, words are secondary, become secondary. Are you aware? Yes. Are you? Can you be aware that you are aware? That's all. The awareness is the application of the absolute. I repeat, you are very awareness now, here and now, the, the eternal now, the never changing here. This very acknowledge of I am aware that I am aware is the application of God, is the presence of God. Trust me, believe me. And strengthen, try to strengthen or realize this belief by yourself. That's all. I recognize the Buddha's teaching like I recognize the sunlight. There's a sunlight shining over me, no matter it's directly or indirectly. I recognize the Buddha's teaching. Then it awaken up my inner light, and I try to relay this kind of information to you, this kind of recognition, and you can recognize it too. There's also always something not subject to any body and mind. I'm this Asian, Chinese-looking, you know, ordinary male. Underneath this body and my words, my thoughts, my memories, my education, there's something identical with you. and you are totally different in terms of your form, your education, your background, your family, your relation, your career, your job. But underneath all your differences, there's something identical with me. Not only with me, it's also identical with your parents, with, you have to find that thing or different dimension. If I say the phenomenal world is a dimension one of first dimension, that trees, planets, buildings, houses, so different, right? And dimension two is your internal like concepts, your identification of who you are, your emotions, your feelings, your background, your social role. So many different, so diversified in everyone's mind, body and mind. Now I'm talking about mind, second dimension. But beside this first dimension and the second dimension, there's a third dimension which is universal. You have to find that one. So we have a question here. Because is awareness my quality or awareness itself is me? You are awareness. If you're not aware, how can you experience? How can you memorize? How can you have a relationship? How can you fall in love or hate or dislike or like, you know, something? No awareness, no experience. In short, makes sense to you. So experiences are so different from, body to body, from mind to mind, so different. But awareness is so universal. Can you tell me your difference between your awareness and my awareness? The contents of awareness are different, but the awareness itself is same. You have to be aware to listen to me, to watch this video, to experience your life. Make sense? So you are the awareness. The quality of awareness, the attributes of awareness. There's two basic attributes of awareness itself. First, I've talked about this, is silence. Second is stillness. That's the two basic attributes of the pure consciousness or awareness. Of course, you know something. The knowing, you're not a dead stillness. You're not a dead inactive silence. You know something. If I can use, is the third attributes of awareness. You know things. You know the contents of the awareness. The awareness knows things, and like scientists can discover things, can measure things, can find regulations or rules or universal principles. You know that you're aware. If I put in other words, but I want to tell a little bit about the in deep sleep without dream. Are you aware? It's a very interesting topic here because I wanna put it here too. In deep sleep, you are not aware. I'm not aware. Is that the absence of awareness? So my reference is in deep sleep is not the absence of awareness. It's the absence of contents of awareness. Very interesting point here. So in deep sleep, we experience nothing. Like you're totally blank. It's like a smart, like a TV without any programs showing on. It's just off. No pixels, no movies anymore, no person, animal, or any situations. You're totally blank. So in deep sleep is not the absence of awareness, it's the absence of the contents of awareness. So it's absence of experience, in other words. So here brings another very important theory or knowledge. The awareness and the contents awareness coexist. Listen carefully. Very interesting, and it's our everyday life experience too. So the awareness and the contents awareness coexist. Do you follow? I can say no one. If there's no awareness, there's no contents of awareness. Agree? Yes, I think it's very logic. But we can say vice versa. If there's no contents of awareness, there's no awareness. This is hard. It's harder to accept. So give you maybe more from my realization. It's more like if we use a metaphor here, mirror and its reflection. There's no mirror, there's no reflection. That's very easy to understand, right? But on the opposite, there's no reflection, there's no mirror. Do you accept? Do you agree? Anyway, I raised up this interesting question for you to ponder. So that's the middle way, you see? Phenomenal world and the emptiness coexist. Something like the quantum theory. The, the a light, a photon contains like a wave and particle at the same time. It's the middle way of looking. It's all you can say is not a wave. It's neither a wave, neither a particle. Or you can, that's the negation way. Or you can use the affirmation way. It's both a wave and a particle. Make sense to you? So I try to bring the like a modern physics terminology just as a reference point here, and you can dig in, more study by yourself. Maybe it's ring a bell in you. Yeah. It's coexist. Your awareness and your experience coexist. and it's the middle way. You don't attach to the pure awareness. You don't attach to neither the pure awareness, the vana, nor the phenomenal world either. You see that middle way is so important. Now, if you really see the beauty of this middle way, you are free from every concept, every knowledge. You are total free, totally free. And in Buddha's teaching, we have a word for this: suchness. Suchness. Voila. You experience a very complex, diversified world, yet you know you're not from this world. You're not of this world. Yet you're not also attached to you, your beyondness. You're still in the world, but you know you're not of this world. You have that total, perfect balance between doing and the non-doing, between the human and being, between the existence and the non-existence. You are in the zone every moment, everywhere, and everywhere. You just need to recognize this. We are, we were always so. We have been in suchness for thousand years. Since the Big Bang, it is so. Everything changes, but everything changes in the never changing emptiness. It's always the middle way. It were middle way. It is middle way. It will be middle way. Because middle way is the absolute truth between existence, non-existence, human being, doing, non-doing, between the waves and particles. You see? That's the essence of Buddha's teaching, my dear friend. If you really understand this, you are a living wisdom. You are living Buddha. You are living Bodhisattva. That's all. And you will utilize or apply this understanding into your everyday life to help others, to love your parents, to love your kids, to love your neighbor naturally and simultaneously. I guarantee it's such a natural thing. You don't try, use any effort to love anymore. It's because it's not intellectual level. It's your gut feeling. It's your realization. That's the best word I can use now. You realize everything is one. Yet in this oneness, there's a diversity. There's a dual world. There is duality. But duality is illusory. The ultimate truth is oneness. but you neither dwell in the oneness nor dwell in the duality. Negation is the best way to describe the absolute. You're not this, you're not that, you're not these, you're not those. Not, nating, until you have nothing to negate. The best way to talk about ultimate is use negation. It's like you're disclose yourself. Just undress yourself until you have nothing to undress, to let go. You're totally naked. You reach a level of zero. Zero is a level of infinity. It's very funny. Only when you are totally empty, you can embrace infinity. I sometimes we have I give you kind of everyday life in math experience. Now everyday life experience in math, we have division, right? Like the opposite of multiplication. We have dividend on top, we have divisor on bottom, and we have quotient. That if I just like 4 let's say 9, let's say 8 divided by 2 is 4, right? 8 is a division, 2 is a divisor, and quotient is 4. But now if I dial, like I change division divided to 1. So 8 divided by 1 is 8. So if I change the divisor into 0.1, 8 divided by 0.81 is 80. If I change this divisor to 0.01, so 8 divided by 0.01 is 800. So the inner stillness and inner silence is the divisor. Once you can finely tune your divisor smaller and smaller and smaller, your experience is the quotient it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So ultimately, if I tune in or reduce the divisor into zero, listen carefully, my friend. That's my realization. Okay. No matter what the dividend is, any dividend except zero, let me say that in math. Any dividend except zero divided by zero is infinity. Do you follow? So this zero divisor is your total inner stillness and silence. Once you can become total silence and stillness, your experience is infinite. That's where the zero and infinity meets, my dear friend. It's right here and now. You can totally be still, and yet your experience is infinity. So the seemingly paradoxical concepts now becomes your understanding and the realization. That's important. That's absolutely important. Do you follow? Wow. All meditation is to tune in, to fine tune this divisor from 100 to 50 to 10 to 1 to 0.1 to 0.05 to 0. That's the meditation part. But your experience, your realization is a quotient for English is more. Everything is a dividend. Every object is in the category of dividend. Everything you see, you hear, you touch, you taste is divided by your divisor, the inner stillness, inner silence. And your experience is infinite, is so diversified, so complex. Yet you have total balance between the emptiness and the illusory experience. That's the threefold truth. The middle way of emptiness and illusion. There's no illusion, there's no emptiness. Everything is suchness. You are in the heaven right here and now. Every minute, every second, every place, every object you touch is the presence of God. Tell me, anything in the world can beat this realization. Tell me, money, power, sex, nothing can beat, defeat this realization. That's why Buddha, this this God, is potential king of the kingdom, went to the mountains to meditate. That's so why so many truth seekers go to mountain temples to seek it. There's a immeasurable value in this realization because it's beyond body and mind. It's beyond space and time. It's beyond relativity. It's absolute. You're not, and from this moment, you realize you're not a drop in the ocean. You are entire ocean in one drop, and you find a total balance between this drop and this ocean. It's one thing. Drop and ocean is still a dual description. It's, do you follow? Okay, I think that's the end of this today. This session. See the universality in each individuality. Behind every name form, you see the pure awareness. Because you are the pure awareness. So you can see the pure awareness. That's all. Dance, sing, and love based on this realization. Every action, every word, every behavior, every thought is the application of the absolute. You join the party of heaven. You join the club of enlightenment. You become, yes, yet manifested in very unique individualities. You are so beautiful. Your beauty is identical with everyone's beauty. Identically, samely beautiful. Yet you can see everyone is so different at the same time. It's like you see in the garden of flowers in the April, in the May. You go to see a garden. You went to a, you go to a garden. You see so many beautiful flowers. Now the whole world is a garden. Everyone is a flower. Can you see the beauty of every human? It may seemly disgusting or stinking, but underneath all the differences, if you can, you can, if you can recognize your true being, your true self, you can see everyone's true self, which is identical. That's where true love and compassion arises. Goodbye, my duty. That's all for today.